Hi, guys. This is Dr. Lanier, and I'm live here on a Saturday morning. We're going to start doing this every Saturday and a little bit late today, but we're going to be every Saturday at 9. This is something I want to do is just sharing. Today, what I'm talking about is two things I want you to keep in mind, and we can develop arbitrage and economies of scale. Those are the two things that really stick out in my mind as far as mentoring to get people to understand. If you think in terms of this, especially in this dental market, arbitrage and economies of scale. And I did a executive MBA, and that was the two things that I walked away with. I already had those in my mind, but it's just a confirmation. And if you really think about that, that'll help you position yourself for a great exit. I know a lot of times dentists are thinking, well, this is what I'm going to be doing for my entire life, entire career. But dental offices are like anything else. It has a time to go to the market. And if you structure everything well, you will benefit greatly by having a market timing. And you can sell, as what's happening a lot now is, especially you sell a portion of it to a DSO, and then you get a second bite of the apple if you stay 3 years or 4 years, whenever they go back and recapitalize, 5 years sometimes. But then you get a second bite of the apple, and it's normally as much or more than what you got the first time. So it's a way to really capitalize on it. But the thing I want to bring to your attention, and you should look it up, and I think everybody ought to be using this Chat GPT, is chat, whether it's chat or Google Gemini and all of those, but the AI kind of thing. So you can prompt it to do exactly what to give you the guidance that you need. And I don't want you to take my word for it, but arbitrage actually arbitrage just by definition is buying an equity or asset at one lower valuation and then selling it at a higher valuation. And the way I look at it, almost like with livestock, I grew up on a farm. If you only had a few, whether it's pigs or cows or whatever, you take them to the market, you're only going to get so much per pound. Whereas if you had a few hundred of them and they're all about the same size, it's easier for the market to garner a higher price. And then the middle person that buys them is reselling them, and they're putting together others, and they're selling all of that at a higher price. And that's what really the market is, especially private equity. And you have to understand, private equity investors are not dentists, and they don't want your job. A lot of times people think, well, I am my practice. My practice is me. I think the mindset would be to separate, and your practice is your product. If you start thinking my practice is my product, and the reason I wrote the book, how to exit your dental business rich, how to exit. And that's it's a big thing. You don't really think about a lot of times when you're going in to have a plan to exit, but on your way in and structuring everything, you would come out so much better if you think about how you're going to exit. What does a person on the other side of the table, what do they want? And really, they're going to make money because of economies of scale. And that's what I was saying. The central thesis here is, one, the more they can consolidate or roll up, because it's called a dental roll up. They roll up certain companies if they're aligned. You really don't want to be buying an asset that doesn't align well with your platform. So you have to have a platform, and when you have a platform, you start to grow your platform. And just by bringing those together, in dentistry especially, it's arbitrage, but they have a modifier. It's called multiple arbitrage. And at first I was thinking, why do you call it multiple arbitrage? Because it's not that you have multiple offices that you're buying. That is true, but multiple arbitrage refers to what you're doing is arbitraging the multiples of EBITDA, which I hopefully you understand. EBITDA is earnings before interest, depreciation, and amortization, something like that. EBITDA, anyway, taxes and amortization. But if you increase those multiples, whereas at first you sold for 3 or 4 times EBITDA, and you can sell the next time 8, 10, 12 times EBITDA. Now you've increased the multiples, so they can actually almost simultaneously buy you, put you together, your practice, if it fits their model. And then it benefits you to know what they're looking for in the model. And then if your model fits, then they can ingest you and assimilate into what they already have. But you have to go in with the mindset, I'm developing a product, not that I'm developing a job for me. Because if you wanted just a job, you could go work for someone else. So don't go in with the mindset that I'm actually developing a job for me. What you do, you can go in with that, but what you want is systems and processes that work when you're not there. Because the private equity investor, they're not dentists and they don't want your job. They want you to hang around and do what you do until your time is up with that, but they want processes in place that'll work easily to bring in someone else. So the more sophisticated you are when you go to market and you have a bigger, and that's why the larger you are in EBITDA, the bigger the multiples. Because and your EBITDA goes up, or your profits go up as you get bigger, and you can have systems that work together across all of those. So it's very important to understand when you're building these offices that one day you want to take it to the market, you want to sell, and you can still stay on 4 or 5 years later, or even indefinitely, because I'm quite sure they would like an employee. But you could think about this: could do it once, you sell, and then you know you're going to get a second bite of the apple, you sell the rest, and now you have monies to do whatever, invest. Now buy properties, dental properties, what I buy, only thing I know, stay in your lane, buy dental properties and do it again. Once your non-compete expires, normally 3 to 5 years. I think now you can't even have one in the state of California, so you go back and do it over again. And they're always looking for more product. That's the thing. If you really see it as product. Now, in coming from a sales background, here's the thing: anytime you're in sales, you have to have a product, you have packaging, and then promotion. Now, the when you're going out, the investment bankers normally will help package it. You have to bring in like a fractional CFO to make sure we go from cash-based accounting to accrual-based accounting, so that they could get the valuations that. But I'm telling you, you can find out all of this now. A lot of stuff you can start to just these terms that are used and things that I'm telling you. Don't believe me, just throw it into Chat GPT or Gemini and ask the right questions or prompt the right thing, and you'll get the answers back. But the more you know up front, the more you know, the better off you are. And now you can start to strategize and see, well, and that's what the big thing. And if I could pass this on to some of the younger doctors, um, just getting out of school and having a job is good. But if your money stops every time you stop, then you probably need a better plan. And what your plan is, one day you want to invest in this. Dental business is good business. The private equity would not be chasing us if it was a bad business. It's one of the best businesses you could be in. So you really want to stay in your lane. You already invested all of these years. And here's the thing: when you went through college, it was 4-year college. You did, more than likely. Some of you guys are really smart. You got 3 years, and then 4 years of dental school, and you kind of got 4 years of high school. Why not 4 years of a practice and then 1 year to transition it to take it to the market? Because it takes about a year once you hire investment bankers and so forth. Or if you're going to just sell it through a broker, probably get better returns to pay. But a lot of times when it comes to investment bankers and so forth, to handle and bringing in a CFO, people are kind of leery of doing that because you have to pay a certain amount of money up front, and then they take a certain percentage. But if you really see what you have and you know that that's the way you want to go, then you pay. And there's some risk involved in being an entrepreneur, but the upside is so great. I don't gamble, but I do like the game. And I call it a game because I see it as a game. It's not, and the reason I can do really well at it is because I'm not totally attached to this stuff. I'm just passing through. I was born poor. I'm passing through this thing, and anything that I've acquired, and I've acquired a lot of stuff, things and stuff, but I can't take it with me. And it could be gone at any time, just like the fire took a lot of things from different people. You're just playing the game. I enjoy the game, but you learn the rules of the game. If you learn the rules of the game, you could play it really well. And if you play it well and you're winning in this game, it's actually monetary gains that you get. So I don't do any gambling. I don't go to Vegas. I used to go to Vegas a lot, and I still go to Vegas, but I don't go for gambling because I'd rather have calculated risk. And with dentistry, the risk of losing is outweighed so much by because of my knowledge and experience. I know how to win at this game, and I know there's some things that are barriers to entry for people. I've already done those. I've been there. I did the exit. I've written a book on it and so forth. So I know what I'm doing. So I don't have any fear. And this is about the only thing I know and do well. So even when I sold Kids Dental Care, 14 locations, for tens of millions of dollars, and I actually walked away wealthier than I even believe, but I did get there by plan. You don't get anywhere by just accident. I planned it, and it actually worked. So what I'm doing now is actually I brought in a CEO. I'm stepping down as CEO of my new company because I invested in dentistry. Again, I bought more properties, only dental properties. People come to me and want me to invest in different kind of real estate and residential. I don't do that. I only do dental offices, and there's a reason why. I know they're lucrative. I know how to select them. This is the lane. I stay in a very restricted lane. Anytime anyone comes to me and they're talking about investing, I say, no, only do dental offices. Why? Because it's lucrative. And that's the reason. Same reason private equity guys are trying to come in and own these dental offices, because they could be lucrative. But what they're looking for is a particular kind of format, something that has management in place, is centralized operation. They don't want to come in and set all of that up. And if you're working, the big thing you want to do, talking about the economies of scale, if you don't join, and we're going forward with the platform that you can join, but whether you join our platform or another platform, it'll help you on your exit because you can double dip. And by double dipping, you can get that second bite of the apple at a higher multiple EBITDA. And what I did the first time, not really knowing exactly what I was doing, and I only did the pedo for the underserved, the pediatrics for the underserved, but we still exited at a 7x, 7 times EBITDA. And the big thing is people talk about, their DSO getting to 10. And I think that's very realistic from where I stand to get a 10x. And if you're part of it, and if the first time you got 3x, and next time you're at a 10x, you did very, very well, probably more than, because even at 30%, you're more than double what you got the first time. So you can't do that alone. So one of my motto is this: be in business for yourself, but not by yourself. You have to collaborate, and we want to form this collaborative, bring in doctors in. So I have this company, TKO, which is turnkey offices, but TKO Dental Partners. And what we're doing is bringing in partners, only dentists. I don't want private equity, maybe down the road, but right now I'm the PE guy. I'm an investor. I'm investing in what I know, and I don't practice dentistry. I keep an active license, but I don't practice. So I don't want to buy a job. I haven't practiced dentistry probably 15, almost 20 years. But what I do have a lot of doctors working with me, and now we're partnering. We're becoming partners because the first time around with Kids to Dentists, Kids Dental Care, and I have my, one second, still have my tombstone here where I exited and did really well. But I regretted this one thing most, is that I didn't make a lot of the doctors partners. So they went and they became my competition. Whereas we could have worked together, but I didn't have it up here, didn't have it figured out exactly how. And I wind up, doing it myself and made off with a lot of money. But I think I could have done so much more if I could have spread and had the partners. So I've taken that time to say, this time I had the funds, the experience, the knowledge to actually do it, this time partnering and helping other people get to where they want to go. That helps me get to the next level because this is the only thing I invest in. I want to do it right, but I want to share with others. And even some of the things that I'm doing, if I'm not around to continue, then you can use those. I mean, this is stuff that you could use whether you're part of what I do or something you do yourself or somebody else. One of the smartest things, like I said, was to hire just recently a CEO. Sorry, should have had that off. Sorry about that. Actually hired a CEO, and everything is being provided for me. And maybe I'm special, but I'm not. But the thing is, the journey has already been laid out. I do try to listen to that still small voice in my head that's telling me where to go and what to do next. And I realize I just keep walking, and he directs my path. And I was really at a point that a lot of things were coming at me, and I needed to handle. And it was just time for me to. And I've been looking for the CEO for a long time. However, it never occurred to me. My niece is an MBA. Did her business economics at University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, and then did an MBA at Duke University School of Business. And she's in New York, so I never really put it together. I'm in California, East Coast, West Coast. However, now since we can FaceTime all day, any day, or whatever, you don't really have to be in the same city. And if you're a CEO and you have a national chain, then it doesn't matter where you're located. It's still centralized, and we have our headquarters is here in Hollywood. But we found that this is great, and she's just been really an asset because to be an entrepreneur and then have an MBA working together, it just brings everything. The synergies really come together because when you say an MBA, you're talking about organizational skills and management skills and so forth, and bringing those things together. When you're talking about an entrepreneur, you're really talking about a visionary leader, and that's what I pretty much have always tried to be, as a visionary, just pushing the envelope. I like doing things and getting my juice from making new things happen and keeping up with the industry and just being there. And I've managed to stay in the room with some of those top guys. Oh, this is a beautiful thing too. I want to share with you. Some of the guys, and when I was in those rooms, a lot of times I was the only person of color, or at least black man in the room, and I'm not a bootlicking kind of guy, but I'm making sure that I go and talk to the top guys, of the big top organizations, the top 3, 4, 5 guys, because sometimes you can get, when you're another smaller guy, sometimes they're looking at you all cross-eyed, whereas the guy at the top, he's happy to mentor and do different things. One, they're already here. You're not competing against them. And, and really, I do appreciate where they are and what they've been through and the struggles to get there. Want to hear about their stories. But remember me. Matter of fact, can I get your card? I'm Dr. Lanier, lock me in. And when I need them, I call them, or I don't call them. I actually email them, and let them know I appreciate their time. Oh, okay. Oh, good. I'll take some of these comments. My friend here was just telling me I got some comments, and I really like to look at some of those. So let me see what we have here. Some things for sharing, different ones. Oh, excellent. Oh, okay. I get people from all around the world that kind of like, and places sometimes I never really heard of or thought. think of going there. But you know what? We share some of the same things, regardless of where we are in the world. We share the same things. So what I'd like for you guys to do, so that next time I can have some topics that you really want me to cover, just visit entrepreneurdentist.com and log in and send me some emails or just comments below here, so that next time we can drive it in whatever direction you want me to go and just talk about some of these things. But really, my job here now is mentoring and just leading to that next phase, which is another platform. But I'm so damn glad that my niece was there. And then let me tell you how it happened. I know I'm kind of deviating from the arbitrage and economies of scale, but you got that. Remember that. It's all about the same principles apply. It doesn't matter what business you're in, because we're in a capitalistic economy, and it's supply and demand, and economies of scale is just a big part of that. And you can't really get around. Anytime something blows up and really goes big, the margins could be really thinner and thinner. But here, the margins blow up. The margins get bigger because you get bigger, and that's because what we're doing, providing one product for this next, because if you were the middle to lower market, when you're talking about private equity, is from 5 million to 100 million in EBITDA, not revenues. We're talking EBITDA, profits. So anywhere from 5 million to 100 million. You don't even get past mid market until you go past $100 million. So it's just that those kind of things kind of interest me. And I did read the book, Why Should White Guys Have All of the Fun? And I really like that idea, because I'm thinking, well, it was just a game. For me, it's just a game. I'm not taking any of this with me. I've been poor as hell, and I've been rich, and I still pretty much eat the same thing, and my life hasn't changed at all, except for sometimes I buy a more expensive suit or drive a more expensive car. But pretty much life is just the same. And I know I will not take any of this with me. So I'm just having fun. I like the game, and it's in the finance. So I realize I have resources, and I remember, and I put a lot into the thing of investing in me. I spent a lot of money in going to educational classes that were outside of school, outside the norm. I actually went to a lot of Tony Robbins seminars. And before him, Jim Rohn, who was also his mentor and was my mentor. Got to know Jim Rohn, got to know a lot of people, because I've always been interested in sales and marketing, did a lot of door-to-door and so forth. Old guy, but all of this stuff kind of reminds me, grew up on a farm, is that you have to have a product, you package it. My dad grew, and way off now, but we had pigs and a pig farm. I love going to the market though when they take the pigs, because listen, even like with animals, you would think, well, you keep fattening them up, they're going to be more when they get to the market. No. When pigs get to be about 150 pounds, they call them tops. They top out, and that's when it's ideal. You got to get them to the market when they top at about 150, and that's when they're at the highest price. And if you have a lot of them when you take, then you get a higher for the pound per pound. So they market, and then they sell them to another market. And the same thing with the dental offices or your business. I know we get hooked on it, and you think that is you. Want to say this. If you're Dr. Smith, Dr. Jones, Dr. whatever, I know it's like, no, I am the business and I want to promote me, but you can't sell you. You actually can sell your business systems and so forth. And then it would be wise if you could bring in somebody else and start training them, so that one day, if you want to step away, then the purchaser, who's not always a dentist, because most dentists prefer to work for somebody, and whom they're working for now are DSOs, and DSOs are a lot of times owned by private equity, and private equity are just investors. So what they're looking for is a product, something that operates and has systems. They don't have to come in and develop. They're non-dentists. They want something that works and that's growing every year, and that can be, and this guy could be replaced and you could put somebody else in there. So I'm almost for, and it's good, if you're doing it and it's Dr. Smith, but you have to think when you leave, it's not going to be Dr. Smith anymore. So you may want to think of a brand, and just do that. And you could do 1, 2, 3 offices if, and I'm not pushing, don't go and do 2 or 3 offices just to be doing that. If you overflow in the first one, you have systems, you may be able to do that. Most people can't handle 2, 3 offices. I've seen guys that go out and acquire 2 or 3 offices, and they don't even have staff or doctors working, and say, well, doc, how are you doing that? I'm working 2 days over here, 2 days over here, and then 2 days over here, and maybe 3, do Sundays every now and then. Stop. You created more jobs than you really can handle. You want systems. The systems work so you don't have to. Like I said, I haven't practiced dentistry in 20 years. I make more on dentistry than most of you guys out there. Why? Because I just had systems, and I used that to develop more systems, to buy more offices. Even when I sold Kids Dental Care, some of the real estate I own. So I still own offices that are occupied by the previous buyer. And then I purchased more with that, more dental offices, and set those up and know the systems and how to design and how to locate. Only thing I know is dentistry. Well, used to I'd be watching a lot of late night trying to do some of this and some of that. And then come to find out, it's like, this is the only thing you know. And one of my friends used to say, Doc, stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. That is true, Doc. Stay in your lane. Invest in yourself. Go to some of these seminars. Develop your confidence, develop your ability to understand whether it's profit and loss, and understand what the market is looking for, how to build these systems. Join a collaborative. And that's why we're forming the TKO Dental Properties, to form this dental collaborative so that we can centralize. Now, there's one other term I know thrown around a lot, dentists and even DSOs, and that term is autonomy. I know everyone wants to say, well, I want autonomy, but a lot of times and sometimes those are diametrically opposed to arbitrage and growing. Because if you say, well, we have a system, and the system operates like this, because what you really want are a system of offices that operate very much alike. Now you have alignment, and these products align. But if everybody has this thing of, well, I want to be autonomous, I want to do everything my way, now you're really hurting yourself as far as getting those multiples, because that's not what the purchaser is looking for. They want some systems that work. They don't want everybody coming in being cowboys. They're afraid of that. So I know it's a term that somehow got thrown into the lingo, but when it comes to me and everyone said, no, you want to always say that. Autonomy. Yeah, when it comes to clinical things, you can, but even clinically, you don't have autonomy, because you have to go based on the guidelines that are set by the state and the ADA, so forth. So you never really have autonomy. And I wouldn't argue that a lot if I were, young and trying to go out and do something. I want autonomy. You won't know, because what they're looking for is standardization. That means you can grow economy of scale. You can't grow everybody being just chaotic. There used to be Get Smart. There was a TV show back in the 60s, early 70s, I guess it was. It was called Get Smart. Don Adams. Well, anyway, he worked for Control, which was the U.S., and then I guess Russia was the other side, and it was called Chaos. Control versus chaos. And you want to be in control, and the person who's buying they want to see control. And if you have control and you have systems in place, you'll look a lot better than chaos. Chaos is just something when they come in and you don't have any of your financial systems in place, you don't have a hiring system in place, you don't have this. And if you do, you're by yourself. Now, I know because I have to have that for my company, but we're DSO. So we have HR, we have IT, we have operations, we have regional operations. Of course, you have your office managers and so forth, but you have, and then we have senior management. We have a oh, one of the things that have been really great is I started doing a mastermind class with my group. And we used to do it every Monday morning. Now we do it every other Monday, 8:30. I lead off. I'm trying now to stop and sit back and let them take over. But it's been good for me to talk to them and get this feedback as a group. I think it's about 9 of us, but it's a lot of feedback that comes. And I like to be free to listen to them. And when I throw something out there, they get a chance to give me feedback on it. And sometimes it's like, that really helped. But the other thing about the leadership thing is this: one, you're in charge, and that's a good thing. Two, you're in charge, and that's the end of it. So you have to make decisions. Everybody could give you different input, but in the end, like my dad used to say, take everyone's consent, use your own judgment. And that's when you step in that leadership role, and you're going to be wrong sometimes. Even if they told you, and if they have advised against it, and you did it anyway, now you're going to hear something from that. But if you're married, your spouse will probably hit you with that. Especially, I know as a man, my wife always hits me with, "Well, I told you about that," but I'm still having to make those decisions. But it's fun. I'm telling you, it's better than Vegas. This is the kind of stuff that is better than Vegas, because when you're winning, you win big. The bad thing is that when you don't get a chance to celebrate. If you're in Vegas, you hear them screaming, ah, and all of that. And if you're on the Lakers or whatever and you win, the ticker tape parade, being an entrepreneur, you can win and make a whole bunch of money. Nobody really says anything. You come home to the family, they kind of expected that. Yeah, take the trash out or whatever. And but it's fun. I'm telling you, it's fun winning, and it's lucrative. So I just want to throw that out there. I may not have that much more I want to say today. I just want to put some of these things out there. Really, my main reason is I want to just start the conversation. And in order to guide the conversation forward, I want to put this out. Plant a seed every Saturday, 9 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. We're going to be doing this YouTube Live every Saturday. And I want you guys to, what are you supposed to do? Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. And let's just keep this thing going, and share. Share with your friends, because I think this is what I was sent here to do. And there's some other things. I'm solving some big problems. I know what I'm doing is what I was sent here to do, and I'm just passing through. I don't know how long it's going to be, but I'm just passing through. I'm doing some of the things that I was sent, and that's to solve some of the problems with the underserved. And what we have a beautiful program that I'll tell you about later called Pedo for the GP, and I partner with some pediatric dentists. We're all Maharians, and we put together a program. These specialists, and when we bring in GPs, they train them, when they monitor, and they help, because most pediatric dentists don't really serve the underserved, especially if they have like Medicaid, so forth. So what we do, we train GPs, we monitor, we motivate, and we get them to the point that they believe in it. But we try to get them to kind of step away from doing other things, all the general dentistry, and just really focus on this and grow. And that's been very good. We also have part of our seminars and training now, ortho for the GP. So it's, you're not going to learn a lot of ortho or even pedo in a 2 or 3 hour session. So with the pedo, what we're doing is actually starting a 1-year program, whereas you can actually, almost like a residency, to come in and do a fellowship program and just spend some time, get paid while working at our facilities, being monitored by these specialists, and understand how to build your practice like that. So, and that requires a few steps to set it up with the state of California, so that you can come in and do this, make money, and learn while you earn. And that's just a beautiful thing. And then the thing is, I want you guys to just follow me, follow, and just follow what some of the instructions. And like I said, don't believe me just because I said so. Now you could check it out. You really can. And really, I just want to be a guide. And if we can work together, great. If not, you go your way, whatever, or you can even benefit from what I'm saying and have nothing to do with me. I don't really care because, like I said, I'm passing through. If we can work together, it's great, but not necessarily just because you want to join, can we let you join? We have to have some kind of alignments and synergies and so forth. And we have to have an understanding that we're going in the same direction. And that's probably my last thing to point out here. Before you leave and do something, think about the destination. Especially if you have a GPS, you have to put in your destination. Same thing up here. You got to put in a destination. Where do you hope to arrive? And I'm saying, if you engineer your destination, you know where you're going, you know why you want to be there, you know at what multiple you want to trade at, pretty much the time. Now, sometimes the market can change, different timings and so forth. May not be the right time to go totally exit at that time, but you're working towards it so that you're prepared. And I always say 6 P's. There were 5 P's, proper preparation prevents poor performance. But I added a P, proper preparation and planning. Got to have a plan. You can prepare if you don't have a well-vetted plan. And that's why get a plan, vet the plan. Don't just start, okay, I got a plan and we'll run with it. Have it vetted. You could be chasing the wrong thing. So get a well-vetted plan. And the only way you're going to do that is educate yourself. You could go to different things, join these organizations that are already headed in that direction. And a lot of times you can learn a lot of things online. Some people can. I'm not that savvy at just learning online. To educate myself, I went to a lot of seminars and just get totally engrossed in the thing, and my mindset, may be different, but invest in yourself, and then you're not worried about these things, whether it's job or whatever. You develop yourself, and then you can develop a product. So know your destination. And like I said, every Saturday, if the Lord's willing and the creek don't rise, my mom used to say, if the good Lord's willing and the creek don't rise, we'll be here Saturday morning, every Saturday morning, 9 o'clock. So thank you so much for joining us. Send me your text or emails. Let me just see if there's anything that I need to answer right now. I see a lot of things. My glasses, I got new glasses here. Can't really read too much here, but I'm going to do this. Anybody that want to send me an email, or you may want to join sometimes live, be a guest on the Entrepreneur Dentist. And last thing. I was talking about this earlier about declaring yourself to be an entrepreneur. Be, do, have. You've heard of that. Be, do, have. First, you got to be. And then, and the being is a big part of it, because like Napoleon Hill says, it says, if you can, what a man can conceive and believe in his mind, then he can achieve. You have to be able to conceive yourself. And in order to do that, you got to say, well, I'm an entrepreneur. That's how I became an entrepreneur dentist. And even the amount of money I walked away with, I just wrote it down and said, this is who I am. And this is what I'm going to walk away with. I swear. And it just happens because that was what I wrote down. You don't get these things just by accident. Really, you will not wind up walking away wealthy, rich, without a plan how to exit your dental practice, rich, your dental business. And this book, it's more about how to get your practice in your mindset and get it started. The exit, I didn't cover as much on the exit because I think now is time for part 2, which really goes into more of the exit itself, how, bringing in the investment bankers, why at some point now you're ready to go to market. Now you hired investment bankers, the fractional CFO to come in and switch it from cash basis to accrual based accounting. All of these things take a lot of money, but now you're ready. You have a product, and you're going to exit, and you're going to get a certain amount first, and then you're going to, a few years later, after working there and bringing it up, you get more by doing the second bite of the apple. So you go, when you go to market to recapitalize, then you get more. So these are ways that you have to think of. But first, you have to think your business is your product. And now you want to structure your product in such a way that when these investment bankers and the CFOs come in, they can package it. You don't want anything that will cause some kind of compliance issues. You don't want any kind of financial things creeping up. So you want to run it like a real business. Run it like a business, because when they're buying it, they're not talking about your hopes and dreams and so forth. They're just buying a business. And then when they come in, like the purchaser, the guys who are investing the money, you're never going to see them. You're going to see these accountants. That's who's coming in and working the numbers. They don't care anything about what you say or whatever. And then they're going to look at the laws and guidelines. Have you had any lawsuits? How are your business working? Is it very organized? Do you have structure in place? Do these things and prepare and package a product for the market. Exit, get a whole bunch of money, do it again. Don't get tied to just one little thing. The business is not you. You are the person, you're the creative person. And then bring in other doctors, younger doctors, do it again and again and help them, because whether you want to exit your business or not, one day you will. One day you'll exit the whole thing. Everything will be gone, us, and the whole thing is gone. So why the hell not just get what you can and do better than just sitting there? And then someday, as your practice starts to go down, I've seen it, I'm telling you, over and over and over again. Don't think it won't happen to you. As the practice is going down, now you want to sell your old equipment that nobody wants. You got a practice that nobody wants. Your patients is pretty much left, and the value in your practice is probably worth about what the old equipment is worth. Don't wait until that. Structure something. Get your mind on, how do I do this thing and do it right? Sorry, the sun is glaring on us. I have a pretty good walk. Everybody walks by my window here. But have a product, package it well, and exit well. That's the thing. I'm going to be talking a lot about this. I'm going to shut up because that's enough for today. How to exit and thinking of arbitrage and economies of scale. I'll see you again next Saturday. Invite your friends. All right. Thank you.